like say,
You're listening to Keith Engle, the host of TGI Sports Talk on the National Streaming Sports Roku channel.
Football season is here, and SeatGeek is my go-to for buying tickets. Now, with SeatGeek, every single ticket is backed with their buyer guarantee. We've all had plans change, and when you can't make it to the big game, SeatGeek has you covered. They're the only ticketer that allows you to return your tickets ahead of the event for credit with SeatGeek swaps. So when things come up, I know that my tickets won't go to waste. So what are you waiting for? Download the SeatGeek app to maximize your possibilities and shop live events with confidence.
all right, guys. Keith Engle here for TGI Sports Talks. Not college football huddle. It's our Sunday stream of conferences. How is everybody? Oh my God, what a trip we've had so far. Good to see everybody with us. Let me get to the comments. Make sure you guys can hear me okay and see me okay. Hopefully you can see me. Give me some. I'm curious if I go out. If you guys still see me, I'm gonna try. Right now. Curious if I went off the screen at all, or froze or anything as I did that. Good morning, Drew. Happy cruising. Happy cruising to you. Doing pretty well. As usual, the first few days are the roughest on my liver. We didn't have that much last yesterday. First day, not good. Sorry, we had some logistical problems with the MLB update Friday, just trying to get situated. Probably rushed into it too much, but we'll do better next week and hopefully do better today. Found a better location. We just did the big football show with Mac and James and Jack. So things went well there. I want to welcome everybody watching this morning on TGI Sports Talks Facebook page or YouTube page, Twitter. We're live on Roku, the National Streaming Sports Roku channel, as we are every Friday, Sunday, Wednesday. And we're happy to have you guys with us today. Quick shout out to Ralph Williams at RW Media. Ralph does some great stuff there in Pittsburgh, specifically the Sports Corner. He does every Tuesday with Smoking Jim Frazier from 4 to 6 p.m. Eastern. Good stuff. Then on that show and have a lot of fun. Quick shout out to the groups, the Sports Authorities, John Gonzalez. We'll certainly talk some baseball today. So Greg Rawlings will come into play at America's Pastime, the love for baseball. Flo and the Gang and Bottom Line Sports. They do most of their podcasting to Let's Talk Sports, who also supports the show. And Ken Krause over at Golf Bud Sports and More. Thumbs up DDH to you. Just a couple quick things. We had our one-on-one show last Friday was a encore presentation, and it will be this week. So if you have any questions or comments in there, I'll try to go back and take a look at it. But I'm not even sure who I put on this week, quite frankly. So, but we're going to do the Wednesday circa 2003. Really? Let me look at some of these comments. I'll give you a couple of. It's the Cabin Boy edition for sure. Good morning, Chris. Good to have you with us up there in Canada. Good morning, Dave Guyette up in Amsterdam, New York. Yankees better wake up. We're going to talk a lot about the Yankees in a second. I'll get you a rundown here. Thank you for that, Drew. I won't do that again. I wasn't sure on the phone because, again, when I'm in the studio, I got several places I can go look at for information quickly. So we're going to rely on memory and the scribbled notes that I have in front of me. I look like I'm coming through your. What did you say? Oh, I'm sorry. Chris is looking like I'm coming through a Nokia cell phone circa 2003. Sorry about the Yankees. We're going to get into that for sure. Richard, good morning, all. I'm sure now the warm weather, 28 here. Is that you, Rick Sherlock? That's a different icon we see there. Helmet Craig has. CA's with us, and Richard. I think that's Rick Sherlock. I'm going to keep saying Richard, but you're showing differently on my comments today. We're going to talk about a lot of stuff, or we can talk about a lot of stuff, guys. We'll go I don't know. Are we going to go 2 hours today? I don't know. My wife is sleeping in a little bit. We're going to go to a early brunch. Well, an early. Um, she's got a diamond invite for lunch today, so we're going to do that and skip breakfast or the sea brunch. We're not going to do that today. So we could go the 2 hours, but I don't think we will. We'll probably go a little more than the hour I might have planned. But it'll depend on your comments and your participation because I will need it. See, we got a bunch of people jumping in the room today. Do not hesitate, you guys who watch, especially Perthites. Feel free to jump out. We're live. I don't know where we are. I tried to check the map when I came down here to get set up, and we're somewhere we haven't quite got to the Caribbean. We might be approaching it now. Last night when I looked, we were just off of really probably the tip of Florida last night. After that was maybe what 20, 24 hours or so after we left, maybe a little bit more, 26 hours. We'll talk about Yankees and Dodgers. Not pretty for the Yankees. I don't understand some of the moves Boone made, as we'll talk about, especially in game one. In game one, he pulls Cole after 6 innings, 88 pitches. Ridiculous. You burned your bullpen. You burned your bullpen and hurt you last night. It hurts you potentially going forward. Then you end up with Nestor Cortez, who hasn't pitched in 5 weeks, on the mound with the game on the line. That cannot happen. Cannot happen. And lost kind of all of that. Gleyber makes another bonehead play in my mind. Doesn't knock the ball down in the ninth inning. They may never gone to extra innings, which kind of lost. I haven't heard a lot about that. Judge is just stinking it up. I think he's 0 for 8, 6 strikeouts. That can happen. Even with the Dodgers up 2-0 too. I do not understand what Dave Roberts is doing sending, and if he didn't send them, then I don't know what Otani's doing. Trying to steal second base, up 3 runs in the 8th inning, I think it was. And he's got a partially dislocated shoulder, and I would be shocked if you saw him again this this postseason. So crazy stuff. Great postseason so far for Freddie Freeman. I mean, I don't know about the comparisons to Kirk Gibson in '88 with that home run in game one, but it was a big one. It was a big one. It was a fun game, except for Boone's errors in my mind. I don't know what he's thinking about. We can get into all of that. We get into yesterday's college football. LSU, latest top 10 team to go down to Texas A&M, was playing great football. Notre Dame rolls over Navy, which they need. Again, I don't feel they ran the score up. I think they did what they needed to do. That Navy team is pretty explosive, so they can. Sorry, we'll probably get a little bit of that as we go forward. If you could pick that up, don't know if we could hear that, but we'll get some people. We're in a pretty good spot where it shouldn't get a lot of traffic this early, but we'll see. Again, Notre Dame does what they need to do. Riley Leonard was awesome yesterday. That is how Riley Leonard should be used. The coaching staff has finally figured out how to do that. They're not back in my good graces, Rick, so don't throw that at me. What else we want to talk about? We can get into Miami wins. Indiana, fabulous. Likely to be undefeated when they get to Ohio State in a few weeks. Week 23rd. Boise State, a group of 5, they win. Navy doesn't hurt. By the way, that Navy loss does not hurt Navy's chances for a playoff bid even a little bit. Not even a little bit, because it's all about the conference. They're undefeated in the conference. This game means nothing as far as that. They were never getting on that large bit. BYU goes to 8-0, I think 8-0, with a nice win on the road at UCF, who's a big disappointment this year, by the way. I gotta go back to the Indiana thing too about the conference. There's a weird glitch in the conference tournament. Some of the conference championships, depending on the matchups, teams might be better off not getting to the conference championship and because could hurt their at-large status, because if they lose that last game, recency bias and all that will not look good. Bama rebounds. Texas get a squeaker, Vandy, but they survive. We're going to get to your comments in a second. I talked about that. There's some other games we're going to get into. In the NFL, we'll do our picks. As I did put mine down, I jotted them down so I wouldn't have to switch out and freeze Drew, but I appreciate that information. Who is back this week? Daniel's iffy. I like the Bears today a lot. Max Crosby. Don't be traded by the Raiders, supposedly. Baker Mayfield, why is it a big deal? And listen, I know tobacco use is bad. It's banned by the NFL. But why is that a bigger story than Goodwin getting hurt? And I know I know on the TGI Sports Talk uh, chat room, there was a lot of chat about why was Goodwin in the game. He fractured his ankle, if you didn't remember, late in the fourth quarter Thursday night. I don't know. I mean, if he's not in the game, are we going to call him? No offense, Rick, but are we going to call him a quitter if he says I want out, or the coaches take him out? Did the team quit and stop trying to win? It's a really fine line there. They're behind. I almost get it. They're ahead. Look at. There's lots of ways to do this. Tom Brady never, rarely came out of blowouts in that 20-year run for the Patriots. Rarely. They might bring in somebody to kneel down last series, and that would be it. But Baker Mayfield using Zinn is a bigger story than Goodwin going out, which is kind of strange. And we'll talk about other stuff going on. But sports, it's your show, so let's see what we got. I missed that too, Rip. Thank you for bringing that up. We'll bring, where am I here? Happy birthday to former Blue Jay prospect Simon Pond. He was often boy of spring. There's a lot of boys in spring and couldn't kick it when the spotlight went on. Simon's 48 today. You know, there's a lot of guys like that. Listen, speaking of guys that were phenoms, I think the Yankees would be smart. They need a spark in a worse way. I'm starting Jason Dominguez somewhere today. I'm probably not putting Stanton in the outfield, but I put Dominguez in left field. Probably not going to put him in center, move Judge to right, maybe, and move Soto to left because Soto hasn't really played left field this year. That's a gamble. It's a gamble to put Stanton in right field, but I want a spark. I need Jason Dominguez in the game tonight. Even though I put him in left field where he's been a little iffy defensively, but Verdugo's not getting it done for me. We're not benching Judge. Might move Judge around the order. I might put him at leadoff, quite frankly. I would do something here. The bottom of this order has been horrendous as well. Maybe Trevino needs to start tonight or tomorrow. Tomorrow night's going to be Clark Schmidt against Buehler. Walker Buehler's pitched pretty well in the playoffs for the most part. And this Dodger pitching has been a bit of a surprise. So thank you for setting me on that way. Rick was on YouTube before for the football shoe. Good morning, Billy. How are you? Bill Pulver. I'm Waldo now. I don't know where I am because I can't see anything. I did make a big faux pas. I think you caught it. My wife caught it because she was listening to me. I had to move in the cabin. When I was doing the MLB update Friday, I'm sitting out on the veranda. There's the veranda. Oh, good God. We'll call it the veranda, whatever. Because for whatever reason, my mind's not working. What is it? And that often. Anyway, it was only 60 degrees here in New York, but the sun was shining directly. I mean, my phone overheated twice. So anyway, we had some glitches. We'll do better tonight, or today, I should say. We'll do the show. By the way, we'll do the Wednesday college football show at some point during the day, and then I'll replay it at 7, maybe on all the platforms, but Roku for sure. I do see some relevant stuff here. Even with all his playoff experience, not this series, the entire playoffs, he's got like 5 hits in the playoffs. And he's done this in his playoff career. He has not been stellar. And he's not even, I mean, you're right, Drew. I mean, he's pressing, but he's not even close. He's missing pitches by feet. Of course, I thought we were 1,000 miles from land. Told my wife it would not matter. If I fell overboard, if we were miles from land, it wouldn't matter. It might as well be 1,000,000 miles. So great point, Drew. It's really scary. Michael Gott over in the UK. Hope you're having a great break. We're having a great break. It's been awesome to get away from work. If anybody's work is watching, don't take offense. I needed this vacation more than I've ever needed a vacation in my entire life, believe me. It's been a stressful time the last few months, especially the last few weeks, and just could not have come at a better time. So thank you for that, and thanks for your dedication to the streams. I tried to do this the best I can. I hope the feed is good. It's always kind of, as guys who have seen me do these from the cruise ships before, they can be spotty. The internet connection can be spotty. I had really good reception getting the games yesterday, whether I was watching the college football on the ESPN app or even using the Fogo. I'm sorry, not Fubu, Dofu app, which is one where you can watch any game you want. Guys, if you have not downloaded Dofu, and maybe you can only do it on the Androids now. I don't know. I was with a guy in the Heroes Lounge yesterday watching some of the Notre Dame game, and I tried to help him download it. He couldn't do it on his Apple phone, so I don't know. So dedication. So I have fun doing this too. So, and I love chatting with you guys, and it's even more fun when I'm doing it from here. Alabama defense finally showed up. Yeah, that Missouri hasn't played well. I don't think I didn't see that game, and I haven't looked at the stats, Billy, but I don't think Cook played for Missouri. He got hurt last week, came back and played. I think he went to the hospital and came back and played. I think he might have been out yesterday. But all in all, I mean, Alabama needed a place to get healthy and get right. And 35-0, I believe, was the score. I didn't see this, Rick, but I will go back and watch. If you, well, I'll go back on the ESPN app because I think I can watch game day over. I really didn't have a chance because we were well for lunch or I'm sorry, breakfast, and I really didn't want. I thought as much as I needed to see game day, I didn't see it. So I'm glad they did a nice tribute to Coach Corso. Were they? He coached at Indiana, by the way. Indiana, Louisville. I think were his two college stops as a head coach, and then he coached in the USFL. I'm not sure what brought that on. Hopefully, he did announce his retirement or something. I really watched, and I love Coach Corso. I really do. But I will tell you that he's struggling. It seems sometimes more and more. As much as I hate to see him go because he's been that show has been a big part of my life for 36 years. I started watching that show when I was in my 20s. Hard to believe. If you could pick a former player to talk to Judge about this, who would you pick? Derek Jeter. He's right there. He's right there. Go talk to Judge. Settle him down. That'd be the guy I would say. Otherwise, I mean, and you've got guys like Paul O'Neill who are. I don't know if he's with the team because there's no TV for the Yankees, obviously. Derek Jeter, he's right there. That's the guy I would pick, Chris. He needs just to settle down. And I really thought, I mean, at Homer, I think in the, it was in the Royals series. He started off badly there. He hit a home run, hit the ball hard quite a few times the last couple games. And I thought he might be getting it together, but it did not happen. And that's really, it's unfortunate because, you see a great player like that and you get labeled. When this type of thing happens, it continues to happen and you get labeled and nobody wants that. Great player. Paul Spada, good morning, our Wisconsin guy who's an Oregon fan, a Boston Red Sox fan, unfortunately, sorry, Paul, and a Patriot fan. Listen, Patriots 7.5-point underdogs. I nearly was going to bet the Patriots today, but because the Jets are just so full of drama. While we're talking about this real quick, and I've got Paul here. And Paul has some questions we want to get into too. Don't let me forget, Paul. We'll kind of cover, well, some of what I talk about, we'll cover that. I might jump into it a little bit right here. But where was I going? Oh, Patriots. How about Devontae Adams? Isn't in jet land for 10 minutes, it seems, and he's already spouting off about, the culture, the bad culture the Jets seem to have. So it's interesting. A game that really between a one-win team and a two-win team today, which should mean nothing, means everything to these two franchises and where they're going. If the Jets lose to the Patriots, what's left to play for? They're not going to the playoffs. They get right in today. They still got some hope because you take 100 teams. But the Patriots need to play well, especially after their coach, who I am quickly, and I was in favor of Gerard Mayo getting this job. I was a big proponent of this move. I've lost faith in Gerard Mayo. Watching him, listening to him, watching his sideline demeanor. Don't call out your players as soft when they're out there playing hard. And I don't even care if they're soft, which again, there are some places you could probably say that. But Bill Belichick even called him out. He knows these players and he knows they play hard. They're not good. They're not coached up well. The penalties are ridiculous. Speaking of penalties, Paul, I know, had asked me a bunch of questions about something that got posted on National Streaming Sports page. And again, if you guys see this from National Streaming Sports, you can feel free to chime in, Linda. Paul was curious about the comments about refereeing, officiating, and whatnot. I don't remember what the other one was. I think it was about Mayor Aaron Boone's. I think it was Paul. You can help me out about Aaron Boone's incompetence. Sorry, he hasn't heard him in the playoffs. He heard him in game one. He may have heard him for this entire series. But as far as officiating goes, I don't get. Yes, there's bad officiating every game. There's every league, every whatever. But I've said forever, and I'll call it. There's a difference between calling out bad officiating, which I'll do during Patriot games or Yankee games. The strike zone first part of that game, at least, was atrocious. But the guy seemed to be. I don't know if he was consistent or not. And regardless, my point is always, and I told Paul this yesterday, and everybody can have their own opinion. This is just mine. I've never once, and I think you guys who have followed me through this entire journey know that I have never once blamed my team losing officiating, ever. Never. Now, I know what Billy or somebody will point out as they're trying to win the Itch Award, and we'll get to it when we get to it. But you know what? You can't put yourself in a position to get beat by officials. That means you didn't play well enough to win the game if you're able to get beat by one call. Right? The call in the Minnesota game the other night. Sorry, Rick. I have the game would have continued. The drive would have continued, but I have no reason to think they were going down the field to win that game. And again, I'm not singling you out. That's the latest play that I can think of where somebody would say, the officials beat me. To me, he didn't play well enough to win. And the Rams, by the way, are a better football team than you think. With Cooper Kupp back and God, what's the other kid's name that's back and healthy? Somebody help me out. Nate Nakua? Is that right? Nakua, I think. Anyway, Rick Sherlock says, yes, welcome back, Pulverizer. Waldo, we're happy to have you back participating more. I know it's hard when you're traveling and, but if you want to keep your award, man, you got that's kidding, buddy. Was impressed at times with Navy's mix of, by the way, it's so much easier for me to read because I have got myself set up better. I had trouble reading the comments the other day, too. I had my sunglasses on. That was stupid. Whatever. Michael was impressed at times with Navy's mix of option wing T play. Listen, this offense of Navy, and you're going to see it in a couple of weeks when Notre Dame, if you haven't watched Navy play or Army play, they play very similar type offenses. They now run the triple option off the passing game. They both throw the ball down the field. Navy, I think, if I'm not mistaken, has more 40-plus yard gains from scrimmage than any team in the country. And they've never had explosive offenses like that, either team. You're going to see it again with Army. I think you'll see a similar result. And by the way, I don't think Notre Dame is really rubbing in Navy. I've always said, well, you know how I feel about run-up scores. To me, it's your job to stop me. The one exception is you don't run it up on the service academies. But in this situation, and again, I don't think it was really rubbing it in their face. I can't think of places they really did things other than just kind of run their offense. And quite frankly, they needed those style points. This was a bigger game for Notre Dame than it was for Navy. And you saw it, as Michael points out, you did see at times where Navy has the potential to be explosive. So they could come back in that game, score a couple quick touchdowns, and all of a sudden it's a football game. So I don't blame Notre Dame for scoring 51 points yesterday. If he scored 70 or something, I mean, maybe that's a different story. But now I froze. What happened? Trying to get back where I was, guys. Hold on. All right, there we go. Sorry, I'm trying to hit the right thing to get the comments up, and I hit the wrong button and I froze. So sorry about that. I was saying I don't blame Notre Dame for scoring 51 yesterday. I don't think that's outrageous in today's world of college football. 70? All right. But I think they did what they needed to do. I did mention Brady. I find a way to get Brady in the conversations, Billy. I mean, when you talk about the greatest football player of all time, he's still relevant in the conversations. I will say this: it's very interesting about his ownership or 10% ownership in the Raiders. If you read some of the stipulations, he's been horrible in the broadcast booth. By the way, the little bit I've seen, he's been horrendous. But some of the stipulations that he's got, I don't even know how he can possibly do his job. So, yes, I get Brady in a conversation where I can, Bill. I mean, if you listen, as a Jet fan, I understand you got a quarterback that, won a Super Bowl 60 some years ago, and he's become irrelevant over the years. He won the most important game in the history of professional football, Joe Namath. But, that's how you got to hang your hat on. Might be the worst quarterback in the NFL Hall of Fame, by the way. Just saying, look at the numbers. I know the game was different, but still. Morning, Ken Gifford, up on the mountain. Don't know what the weather is back home. I did have the local news on in my ear today because I do listen to WGY and iHeartRadio in the mornings. I think it's supposed to be in the 60s. But nighttime, I know it's been getting pretty cold. So we're going to be 85 today, 66 yesterday, so a little chilly. But we'll be getting into the, something was just squeaking here. I don't know what it was. So curious what it was like on the mountain, Kenny. Dodgers Dodgers in a great spot. I will remind you though, last three times, I think I'm right about this. At least the last two times, these two teams have played. The team that won the first two games at home did not win the series. 81, the Yankees won the first two games in LA and lost in 6 games to the Dodgers. In 78, the Yankees lost both games in LA to start the series and came back and won the series in 6. Swept at home, won the game in, I believe, LA, if I'm not mistaken. And I will tell you forever, one of the greatest performances in the history of the World Series. You can talk about Reggie's 3 home runs, which doesn't seem, in the way the game is played today, it doesn't seem like it's big a deal to me. But Greg Nettles in game 3 of the 1978 World Series is the greatest World Series performance I've seen in my lifetime. Saved 5 runs at a minimum. Guidry was getting knocked around the ballpark, walking guys on base all the time. And Nettles made 3 or 4 great plays. I don't want him talking to a Red Sox, Paul. Jeez, come on, will you? No, I can't do that. It's very possible they do need a facelift, Kenny. They need a facelift at the top. I can tell you that. They need a new manager. They need a new GM. I haven't changed my opinion of that. I think the closest I got to praising Aaron Boone was that he didn't do anything to screw up the first 2 series that they played. And I said the judge, it looked like he was getting it going against the Royals. I misspoke. I think it was against the Indians. I really meant. A little golf today. This is good. I get to share to the golf groups. Nico, can't say that name. Echeverria beats Tiger Woods course record at Zozo Championship. What was it, by the way? Speaking of irrelevant, Tiger's irrelevant. We're getting into the time where, we're past the major championships and stuff in golf, so it's kind of golf is something we're leading up to a Ryder Cup. I think next year that'll be interesting. Thank you, Drew Belfry. Oh my God! Sometimes I wonder if I should take an early Alzheimer's test. I am not on the Long Island Sound. We passed there. Well, we didn't go past that. I don't think. I don't know, Drew. Do I pass the Long Island Sound on the way out of New York Harbor? I don't think we do. Um, but no, we sailed out of New York Harbor, and we are now somewhere south of Florida. We'll be. I don't want to change where we're going. We'll be in. I think our first stop might be Amber Cove. We're 3 days at sea right now. This is the second of 3 days at sea. Then we're at Amber Cove. I'm not sure what order. Amber, um, Half Moon Cay, which might be a problem because it'll be very windy that day. We may not get in there. Who knows? And Grand Turk. Um, and one other stop, which is escaping me right now. Then we have 2 days at sea going home. So lots of fun to be had. Play some. We're gonna do a deal or no deal today. My wife won $250 2 years ago, and when she got picked to play, so we've enjoyed playing deal or no deal a lot recently. It's just a fun afternoon. When you're on the ship, get out in the sun for a couple of hours at the most. That's enough for me. That's enough for her at this point too. So, didn't you say this already, or did I? Wait, did I miss something up here? Need a new facelift. Oh, here we go. Missed this one. Did you read that the Jets hotel fire alarm went off at 3 a.m. last night? That's right. Bill Belichick is still on the payroll of the New England Patriots, so I'm sure he's contributing to the what happened. Listen, if you remember, I know this, where this comes from, by the way. The Steelers used to complain about this stuff all the time. And there was a great meme. I don't remember what year it was. Maybe it was 17. I don't remember who they were playing in the Super Bowl or the AFC Championship game. But there was a great meme, a picture of Belichick holding up a drink or whatever, saying, "Listen, you don't want your fire alarm off. Get the home field advantage, and it won't happen." Oh my God! Someone that can produce. We have two guys that can produce. Judge can produce. Judge isn't producing in the playoffs. That's a problem, without a doubt. He's not going anywhere. You're not trading the face of the franchise. I know you think that's nuts, Kenny, but that just doesn't happen. Or it can't happen. Who's taking a contract anyway? Soto produces, but there's a very good chance Soto is not going to be here next year. Garrett Cole still produces, but not on a regular enough basis. I've said for a long time this team is flawed, so I'm not really arguing about the fact they need a facelift. We need a third. Well, Jazz. My guess is Jazz will be the second baseman next year, and Gleyber will be out of here. So we need a new third baseman. We need a new left fielder. I would say we need a center fielder, and if Soto comes back, he plays left field, and Judge goes back to right because he's one of the best right fielders in baseball. But he's an average center fielder at best. So we need probably. I do think. Well, the bullpen probably going to need something because I would not think. By the way, you can count on Luke Weaver to do what he's doing this year and next year. And by the way, again, in game one, what are you doing, Aaron Boone? Start with the manager because there's enough talent here to win. Austin Wells, I think, will be a good player. Had a really good run till the end of the season when he went into a horrible slump. So I think catcher's okay. First base, we need help. Rizzo's probably done. Again, Jazz probably plays second. Volpe plays short. We're good. Third base, we need a third baseman, an outfielder, preferably a center fielder. Probably a couple starting pitchers. Cole's on the backside of his career. So yes, they need some help, but they also need different people choosing those players. Stop putting the same type of team out there year after year after year, and they fail in the playoffs because they don't play good fundamental baseball. You saw a little bit of it in the ninth inning last night. They're in the game. Guys are looking to get on base, and then the last two guys up are trying to put the ball out of the ballpark. All they need is a base hit to tie the game. Anyway, I'm starting Trevino tonight. Full facelift? No. I mean, you're still. I'm up in here about whether Soto should be back or not. If Soto doesn't come back, this is going to be interesting to see what happens. Definitely need some starting pitching. But again, it's the guys who are making decisions that need to go first. Aaron Boone, game one. Number one, don't bloody pull Cole out for 88 pitches. Why? Why? Why do you burn your bullpen in the first game and if you affect game two potentially? And you affect maybe, multiple games down the road. You've got your ace on the mound, a guy who doesn't have many games left in him like he pitched last night, most likely, or Saturday night. What night was it? Friday night. And you've got to ride him until he can't go anymore. It's the World Series. This isn't game 102. You ride him until he can't go anymore. Oh my God. It's just so frustrating to watch this. And I watched it again last night with Roberts. Even though they win the game, Yamamoto's got a one hitter and he's throwing 80 again, I think around 88 pitches. And Roberts takes them out. Thank you. God, he's just mowing them down. On the burning deck, I don't know where I am. I'm on deck 5, just outside the Amari Bar, actually, one of my favorite places, the Alchemy Bar on a lot of Carnival ships. On this one, because it's an Italian ship, the Venetia, it's called the Amari. Best old fashioned you'll ever get. So we're not burning, except burning the Yankees down. Chris is a guy that's all over the board today. Good man, Chris. Western hockey news. Riley Height. I can't look these things up today, Chris. So, first Cougar player to score 300 career points. Where is that? What are we talking about? Usually, I can go to the computer and Google so I can catch up with you, Chris. I can't do it. So, congratulations to Riley Height, if I'm saying his name right. First Cougar player with 300 career points. CA says, sorry, but so many once in a blue moon go Yankees around us, including me. I believe Cole's game one start was a must win. I agree 100%. You have to win the games your best pitcher pitches because they don't have anywhere near the quality of Cole afterwards. You saw Rondon. Rondon was terrible last night. Terrible. He gets up 4 runs, I think 2 home runs, right? But he keeps putting them in hitters' counts every single at bat. Every single at bat. And after the game, Boone's saying, well, he wasn't throwing bad. Yeah, he got into some bad count situations. Stop fucking making excuses for these guys. Go out there and say he pitched like horse shit. Now, I did say Mayo should be calling out his players, but Boone's got a little cachet here. And there's a fine line between calling out your players and just enabling them to continue to rationalize their lack of performance. Unacceptable on every level. I can't do it anymore. You have to win that game. That's why he cannot come out of that game. You bring him in, put Clay Holmes in, he hits the guy. Haley was okay. Luke Weaver pitched really well. And that's the thing, Boone was interviewed yesterday. He didn't regret his Cole decision. He didn't regret his Cortez decision, which he puts him in the game with the game on the line and the bases weren't loaded. He loaded the bases. I think there were 2 men on when he came in. He got Ohtani out. And if he thought Ohtani was his best chance to get Ohtani out was Cortez, fine. Was he the best bet to get out Freeman? No. But if you rolled Cole into the 8th inning, if possible, if he kept pitching the way he was, then you have Weaver maybe in the 9th and the 10th. And maybe that game doesn't go to extra innings. But his regret was taking Weaver out too soon. I just don't get it. Breeders' Cup is right around the corner. Nice to chat about the ponies on here once in a while. Yeah, we do. And I chat about during when Saratoga season's going because it's right up the road from us. Love to see them run a Breeders' Cup at Saratoga one time. It'd be very exciting. I love the Breeders' Cup. For years, I went to a Breeders' Cup tournament, if you will, where at a British Cup, if you don't know, it's like an entire day of huge, huge stakes races. No bad races, no throwaway races in this field at all. And we used to have great tournaments where you would get you'd pay an entry fee, whatever, $100, let's say, and you would have a fictional bankroll of money to bet throughout the day. You could bet it all the first race and go out if you want. But the guy who accumulated the most money would win. And we'd have usually 30 or 40 guys in there. So I think they'd pay out the first four places. It's like a $2,000 win if you get there. Puka. Nakua. I thought that was that guy's name. Am I that far behind? The other comment was that the Yanks, Paul, yeah, I was trying to remember his comment. The Yanks had two solid lefty relievers, I think I'm going to say, and put in the third. That's the other good point. And I had it written down here and I didn't get to it. Paul, thank you for pointing that out. Tim Hill doesn't get in the game. He's pitched very, very well. And he doesn't get in the game. He should be in the game there against Freddie Freeman, not Cortez. I mean, even if you thought he was a better matchup, which I cannot imagine how you think that's a better matchup when he hasn't pitched 5 weeks. I just don't understand. So it's a great point. And the other lefty, I'm trying to think who the other lefty was he had left. I thought he used him. But anyway, however you look at it, Hill was sitting on the bench, and Cortez, who hadn't pitched in 5 weeks, is in the game. You put him in a position to fail. And now you've hurt his confidence besides. So what use is he going to be throughout the rest of the series? I questioned putting him on his roster in the first place when he had not pitched live action in 5 weeks. When Birdie got hurt to decide to activate Cortez, and I love Nestor, but he was not in a position to win. Michael says our live NFL today is Keith here in UK. NFL Keith here in UK. I'm your live NFL action today, and on Sky Sports starts at 1 p.m. UK with game day morning. Eagles and Bengals, Bears and Commanders. Interesting game, by the way. Cowboys, 49ers, along with the option of the red zone. I love the red zone, Michael. I don't know if we've talked about it when you've been on the show. If I'm home, if I'm out, then obviously all the games are out in front of me wherever we go. So, but when I'm home and the Patriots are not on, I'm on the red zone. I love the red zone. It's great, not just because of fantasy sports and all that. It's just the best way to watch, especially the later games, because there aren't as many places to jump to. It's a great, great tool. And if you get Spectrum streaming, it's cheap. I mean, for the extra sport, it's part of an extra sports layer that I pay for. I get the red zone, and I think could be the ACC and the SEC network. If you're not a college football fan, then it won't matter. Or college sports fan, I guess. But it's like $7. I love the red zone. Plus, you can turn it off. Almost got out of here. Lou Williams played 17 seasons all over the place in Toronto. Hard to believe the old boy is only 38 today. Isn't Lou Williams? Happy birthday, Lou. Isn't Lou Williams the guy who got arrested in the bubble? Not arrested. Got suspended when they were in the bubble during COVID for something to do with strippers. I don't remember. I have this vague memory, and if it's not, I apologize, Lou, for smearing your name. Somebody might have a comment there. Somebody check it out. I can't do any Googling while I'm here because I don't have I only have my phone. They say he missed 14 calls during the first game. Who's this? Kenny Gifford? Um, he saw over 200 pitches. That means he missed about six. Look, I saw the first two innings. They can say whatever they want. He missed 14 calls. And again, I'm not blaming. Just to be clear, Kenny. I know you're an umpire, and I think you just defend umpires, and that's fine. I think overall the umpires do a tremendous job. But I don't know if you watch the game. I don't care what the stats say because they're going to back up the umpires always. The first three innings of that game, he missed 14 pitches in the first three innings of that game just against the Yankees. And I'm not saying that that's why they lost. It's not why they lost. But I'm not gonna excuse that guy's performance any way than I'll excuse my team's performance. So Kenny finishes that up with look at the bad swings and the stupid plays that made and who should be called out. I can call out both. That's the point, Kenny. I call on my team. I never have once. And there's nobody who follows the show, and there's nobody that's commenting here today can say I have ever blamed umpires on my team losing. Never. That doesn't mean there's not bad officiating and umpiring. There is. This guy was horrendous the first three innings of the game. Now, I got distracted a little bit, and I didn't see pitch for pitch. The first three innings, I watched every single pitch up on the deck on a huge screen. He missed at least 8 calls. At least 8. Maybe not that 14, but he missed 8 calls at least in the first couple innings of that game. Not even by a little bit. And here's the bigger problem. It's not just that he missed calls. It's he wasn't consistent. Cole was throwing the same pitch in the same place, and he caught one ball and one strike. You can't do that.
Yeah.
Now, again, you're absolutely right. That's not why they lost the game. I'm not saying that. Both things can be true.
Right.
The Yankees played horrendous. Boone made awful decisions. They're to blame. But I can also say the umpiring was atrocious, at least early in this game. I didn't see anything late in this game that was worthy of calling out. And for the most part, I agree. Umpires do a tremendous game for the most part. So, no need to apologize. I type like a gorilla. I speak like you type. I speak you, Paul. You never have to worry. See, again, hopefully apps like Victory Plus for pro franchises grows. For now, there's only local markets for you. I'm telling you, if you have a you can download it for your laptop. Well, you can do it on your phone and mirror it to your TV. CA. If you get the Dofu app, I don't know, they're calling it something different, but I think if you look in if you have an Android, either phone or iPad or whatever, I think you can get the app and put it on there, and you can watch any sports game you want: football, college football, hockey, basketball, baseball, even NFL, even there's even some innocuous sports on there. So check that out. And again, the guy I was talking to in the Heroes Lounge had trouble downloading it, but I'm not sure why. No, definitely don't feel bad about it. Brady, best ever. 100%, Paul. GOAT. Jet fans like Billy, who have not won a Super Bowl in like 60 years, are never going to get that. Well, we'll never know that, will we? Will we? Will we ever know that? Again, I get your point here, Billy, but I mean, it's really not something we can ever prove or disprove. Namath couldn't have won 6 quarterbacks with the Patriots the way Brady did either. I mean, I could say that, but I don't know that. Again, I have no way to ever prove it. And again, we talk about this. I know Kenny's brought it up several times. Rick brings it up several times. We can't. It's hard to compare eras. I do know this. If you just want to look at numbers, and numbers aren't everything. I've said that 100%. Leadership and character means something. Joe Namath by the numbers, is likely the worst quarterback in NFL Hall of Fame. And by the way, if you watch him, the numbers are backed up by the eye test. Now, he did win the biggest game in history for football. But if you're telling me Brady couldn't win that game, then you're telling me nobody could win that game except Joe Namath. And I don't know that that's true. Plus, if you're conspiracy theorists, which I'm not, there's a lot of questions about that game, which we will get into. I think the Jets won fair and square. Um, this phone is hard to type on. I get that too, man. It's hard to type. Believe me, I can't even type on my keyboard when I'm in the studio, for crying out loud. We got a nice crowd joining us here today. Let me take a quick look, see if there's anybody here. Where is everybody? Can I? Shoot, I can't see like I normally can. I don't want to freeze myself up. Sometimes I can see some of the people watching, and I can say hi. So if you're out there watching, we got a bunch of people right now live. And again, thanks to the groups that let me share this. 2 weeks, was it last week's show? We had 4,000 views just on Facebook, guys. That's not counting Twitter. No, we don't do much on YouTube, but Brady's old news. Well, again, we don't. So history doesn't matter, right? I mean, all that matters are today's games. The history of the game matters, and Brady will continue to be relevant as long as he's the GOAT until the next guy passes him. Maybe it'll be Mahomes. Bill Brady couldn't win that game because he wasn't alive. I think there should be a comma there. I was wondering who the hell's Bill Brady? But that's a great point. Again, that's an argument that's impossible to win or lose because we'll never know. We can't go back in time and plug in let's see, when was Brady born? How old is he? 45? Yeah, he wasn't even alive. Good point. Anyway, if I plugged in 30-year-old Tom Brady, he wins that game. Believe me. I can say that just as definitively you can say he didn't because there's no way to prove it one way or the other. Billy's really working. He's working it. I like it. Sour grapes for you guys and Brady. Yeah, Paul, we get used to it here. This is the itch. This is the itch portion of the show. We bash the best player ever to play, and then at the same time say Bill Belichick's no good because Brady won all the Super Bowls. So, I mean, again, you can't win. You had the best dynasty in the history of football, and we want to knock it down because that's what we do in this country. We don't like winners. We like to see them grow to be winners. Then we hate them. People loved Tiger Woods until he became Tiger Woods. It's hilarious. Who's this? CA? Fox Sunday keeps showing, keeps superimposing Brady like he's in the studio. Oh, you mean on the pregame show? I don't watch pregame shows except for game day in college. I don't watch the NFL pregame shows. To me, they're unwatchable. Joe Willie has a hologram presentation at the Hall of Fame. That's awesome. Oh, really? That's cool. It's him talking or speaking, or is it him playing? What is it? Listen, I take nothing away from Joe Namath. One of the most important figures in the history of the NFL. Actually, pro football, because he wasn't part of the NFL when he had his greatest moment. But that game had a big deal, had a lot to do with the merger, but it wasn't the final nail that people think it was. It was the next year when Kansas City beat, the Vikings, Rick. That was really the final nail in the merger of the two leagues. And plus, the AFC was beating up the NFC in the preseason all the time. But Joe's one of the most important figures. He's just not the best quarterback, that's all. Very important to the history of the NFL. That's not good enough, apparently, for some people. No, I didn't think so. Listen, my geography is not always great. It's almost as bad as my math. But I didn't think we were going by the Long Island Sound at all. Hello, Sonia. Good to have you. Awesome show from the ocean. We love doing the show from the ocean. if I could get, it's hard because we have all the glass behind me, so you can't really see. See if I pick this up a little bit. Let's see. Oh, look at that. But I can't get the thing up there high enough because I don't have any place to put it. That'd be an awesome shot, right? I mean, that's what we got behind me. So we like that. We love doing the shows while we're on the cruise. It's so much fun. It's different than being in the studio. And when the feed is good, which it appears to be today, and when I watch, sometimes you guys all tell me, Rick was always telling me it's good. I think Drew told me it's good the other day, except for the glare, which we don't have any of this morning, I don't think. But then I'll go back and watch it, and it's like atrocious. But anyway, the Yankees don't win. It's Dave. The series, Boone should be let go. Well, first of all, Boone should have been let go 2 years ago. But yes, Dave. I mean, he's not going to get fired, though. He finally got them to the World Series. Unless Cashman goes, Boone's not going anywhere. And Cashman, I believe, has still got time on a contract, and I don't think Boone's going anywhere. Plus, I'm not sure there's a better alternative out there right now. You know, and that's not to say I don't want him gone. I do. It's probably why I can't get Brett and Bob Boone on the show. 2 reasons to lose track. Oh yeah, yes. I've had trouble actually since I go back to the middle of October. I think it was the 11th when the wedding was. My niece's wedding that I officiated, and because of that Thursday rehearsal, the Friday wedding, everything's been screwed up for me since then. I wake up not knowing what the hell day it is, even when I had to go to work. Every day I'm like, do I have a show to do? Do I have work to do? What do I have today? Well, vacations works, you're right, especially when you're gone for an extended period of time. If it's a couple days, I don't lose track. And then when you leave on a Friday, because mostly we leave on Saturdays when we leave on cruises, and this is a Friday departure, adds another layer. In February, we're out of, I think in February, we're out of Orlando or Cape Canaveral. I think that's 10 or 11 days. Next year, though, next September, Miami to Barcelona, 14 days, and then we'll spend some time in Barcelona. That'll be a lot of fun. Shared, thank you so much, Sonia. Thanks for your support. Sonia does some great stuff. Sonia, post when your shows are on so I can give you some. It's funny in Max. And Max do promo for the network, which is really well done, by the way. I think that's the one Steve did. It's funny when he goes to your show. It's really well done, but when I first hear it, I think it's something different. I apologize. But anyway, give us some facts on your show so we can put them. Your angry finger desk tapping on the subject. You can see that. Your angry finger desk tapping keep on the subject of heat. Oh, was they doing it? I think sums up the frustration of all Yankee fans at present, maybe. Yes, not a question mark. Exclamation point. No question mark, Michael. I've been frustrated like this I'm happy to be in the World Series. I didn't think the Yankees would make the World Series. I had Baltimore against the Dodgers. When I get back, Drew and I will likely do an MLB update and look at how bad our picks were. I got one team in the World Series. I'm happy my team is there, but I'm seeing the same stuff that I've seen forever. And listen, this stuff starts at the top, not in the middle. You bring in a dysfunctional team and they play dysfunctionally. Dysfunctional teams can still make it to the World Series. Seen it a lot. But if you don't play good fundamental baseball, you're not going to win. AC's with us. Good to have you with us, AC. We're live from the Caribbean, as we said, and I'll give you a shot of the ocean one more time before we sign off today. We're going to go a little bit longer. I can probably go to at least 10. maybe even a little longer. I've been nursing my coffee so I don't run out. Michael says, could you ever see Belichick return to coaching? And if so, who with? Or is he done, period? I don't think he's done. I don't think. Before this season started, I would have said it's a sure thing he'll be back next year. He really seems to enjoy the TV thing. He does a bunch of it. He does the Manning cast, which is really funny on. He does This Week in the NFL on one of the networks. He's on with what's his face from ESPN, uh, McAvoy, McAfee. Sorry. Um, will he be back? I still think it's 90%, maybe 80%. Again, it's going to depend on the situation. He's not coming back to the Jets. There's no way that bridge is burned. People think he's coming to the Jets. That ain't happening. Giants, I'd say it's a possibility, but he's torched the Giants this year. They got to hire him. He's torched the management. He's torched the ownership. Don't see it happening. So his options are going to be Dallas, maybe. Again, it's got to be a place that's going to win. He's not going to Carolina. They've got a first-year coach anyway. Jacksonville might be an intriguing place to think about coaching. But what other jobs? Think about the jobs that are going to come open. Philly could be an interesting possibility. Cincinnati struggling, possibility, interesting scenario. He's not going to Cleveland. He's been there and didn't work out well. Baltimore won't be open. Tennessee won't be open. Detroit won't be open. Arizona won't be open. Jets won't happen, as I said. I don't know who the hell that is. Oh, Atlanta won't be open. Tampa Bay won't. Tampa Bay could be open. Doubtful. Green Bay won't be open. Jacksonville will be open most likely. San Diego's out. New Orleans could be open, but there's no quarterback. Buffalo, doubtful. Seattle, first year coach, not going to happen. Denver, not going to happen. KC, not going to happen. Vegas could come open, but he's not going there. Redskins ship has sailed. Chicago likely won't be open. 49ers won't be open. He's got a few options. I think it's 80-20 right now and shrinking. He seems to really enjoy what he's doing. Plus, he looks like he's going to marry his 24-year-old cheerleader. And but she has been quoted as saying she wants him to do what makes him happy. There's Flo. How are you doing, Flo? Good to have you with us. What's up? My prediction of Dodgers and Freeman looks very good. Yes, it does. Yankees need to get it going or it won't go 7. I predict the Yankees in 7. I still predict the Yankees in 7. Listen, if Otani's out, the Dodgers lineup looks entirely different. And I will say again, whether Roberts had him stealing or he stole on his own last night, that was the stupidest thing I've seen since Aaron Boone took Cole out with 88 pitches in the 6th inning, and potentially affected the Yankees pitching the entire series. But you don't send your best player, and then the head first slides, guys, need to stop. It's dangerous. He's got a separated shoulder. He's not playing. Gives the Yankees a ray of hope. I don't want to win that way. I do not root for injuries. I was not cheering, okay, yay. No, I want to beat you at your best, always. But so far, your stuff looks good. Flo, also put up your information so I can share it in the chat, please, as far as your show, air times. I know you're on Let's Talk Sports, guys. We like to spread the wealth here. If you're not following If you're not following National Streaming Sports, you need to do that. If you're not following Let's Talk Sports, where Flo and the gang do their podcast, you need to do that. They're great supporters of the show, and I'd like to see my guys support them as well. Who Googles misdemeanors about someone on their birthday? I don't think it was a misdemeanor. That's actually a good question, Chris. Again, I don't even know. I probably have maligned the guy because I don't even know if it's true. It seems to be, it just is popping in my head. Pookie and that Williams running back for the Rams remind me of those players I enjoyed shutting up and shutting down. All the good old days when punks were checked. Yeah, well, they're players, though. I can tell you that's the thing. I mean, again, in today's world, you got to put up with that stuff, right? Oh, I love it. AC, this is something we do often. We go every October, November. The trips have gotten longer. 8 days used to be our longest trips, and now 11, 12 days, whatever we're on now, doesn't seem enough. So I love it. And I could stay at sea the whole time. I don't need to see land. We got 5 total days at sea here, I think, on this trip, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe it's more than that. Maybe it's 6. I know when we go to Barcelona, it's like 6 days straight across the Atlantic after you make a few stops after leaving Miami. Can you get the math awarded per point? I don't know what is the real math on that. Billy, you are an accountant of sorts. No, if I remember, I'm trying to remember exactly. I believe. What was it? 14 out of 200 would be. Wouldn't that be? And I'm not a math wizard, but wouldn't that be 7%? Not 0.06. Wouldn't that be 7%? But so that's a 93% accuracy rate. I think I know what Kenny is trying to say. But Kenny, just so you know, and Paula, I'm not ripping the person. That was Bill Paul ripping her. I did have on my list to chat about to Delvin Cook resurrected from the practice squad to help the Cowboys running game, which is non-existent, by the way. For some reason, I like the Cowboys a little bit here today. I'm not sure why. I'm in fact, now that you brought this up, let me give a good morning. I don't know. And Drew, do you think he's going to help? Has he got anything left? He didn't really get a shot with the Jets last year, but when he did, good morning, Robert. I'm going to do my picks right now since we're on it. And I did write it down. I don't have the standings in front of me, guys, because obviously if I switch off here, I'm going to freeze, and nobody wants to look at my frozen face any more than probably worse than if you want to look at my live action face. The camera does me worse justice when it's below me than when it's above me, believe me. Let me give you one more shot of the ocean before we go. Look at that. Isn't that awesome, guys? AC, I don't know if you saw that. Isn't that a great shot? Oh, my God. But, yes, do we love it here? We love it. I'd never come home. If I could find an island, if I could find a shack somewhere on one of these islands that had really good internet connection, I may never come home. Let me do my picks real quick, and then we'll get back to Drew's comment. I see Drew's comment about the 49ers, so that's where we'll pick it back up. I'm going to go. I'll try to go as long as you guys have comments, because I don't like to leave them. But sometime between 10 and 10:30, we're going to wrap it up. Cincinnati, Philly, Cincinnati. I'm going to take Cincinnati at home. I know Higgins is out. I may be bucking the trend here a little bit, but I like Cincinnati here. Probably not a bet today. Baltimore at Cleveland. Baltimore easy. Tennessee at Detroit. Detroit easy. Arizona's at. Help me out. Can't read my own writing. They're at somebody. Miami. I took Miami in this game. Jets and Patriots. I'm going to take the Patriots as I always do. No points here, but with the points, it might be a bet. I'll tell you who I'm going to pick here. By the way, yesterday in college, I was 2 for 1. 2 and 1, excuse me, 2 for 1. Had the over in the Notre Dame Navy game, had the over in Ohio State game. Should have flown over. Had to root for overtime. Almost had a shot to get it, but no way. And BYU at that yesterday. Plus 3.5, by the way. Rest of my picks here. Atlanta at Tampa Bay. I'll take Atlanta on the road. Goodwin being out, hurtful. Danny doesn't appear to be with us this morning. Danny Fuller. I know he was very vocal about Goodwin still being in the game, and I think there's two schools of thought here. Rick, I'd like your opinion. If Goodwin and Baker come to that game, are we calling them quitters? What are we doing? I'm just curious. And again, this isn't to call you out. It's just to get kind of an opinion on what your thoughts are, because that type of thing has been, I would not have a problem if they, but the history that I've seen from my team when they were very good is that the best player played pretty much every down until like the last series when he sent in the backup to kneel down. So anyways, Tampa's in kind of a tough spot. I like Green Bay at Jacksonville. That's definitely a bet for me today. -4, by the way, on the bet. I've got the Texans over Indianapolis, who I may. Oh, you're no, I think I forgot to write them down. They could be coming up here, but Texas is going to be a bet for me as well at -5 against Indianapolis. Buffalo at Seattle. I'm going to take Seattle at home here. Carolina and Denver. Denver's the easy pick. Denver playing really good football. Denver's defense is very, very, very good. I should say that I've been. Oh, that's right. Vegas. Chiefs at Vegas. Chiefs are good. Now they pick up. What's the receiver they picked up? DeAndre Hopkins. Big pickup. That's a great pickup. He's going to play in the slot. That's going to help Kelsey. I think Kansas City wins easy here. On the road, though, so, Bears against the team formerly known as the Redskins. Jaden Daniels, a game time decision. Looks like he's going to give it a go. I think the Bears defense might knock him out during this game. I like the Bears. The Bears playing really good football. Caleb Williams, who got off to a shaky start, played really good football for the most part this year. Take a look at the numbers. And the wins, 4-2. This division, I said, was vastly underrated before the season, and I took 3 teams to make the playoffs from here. Vikings weren't one of them, and the Vikings could still, quite frankly, miss the playoffs, or maybe 4 teams go from here. It's possible they get all 3 wild cards. What I missed? Dallas at 49ers. I just have a feeling. Come on, Dallas, although I know Kittle and Drew's got a comment here about Debo and Kittle expected to play despite injuries. Desperation, watch them re-aggravate those injuries. I agree. They've also got some serious issues on defense. One of the things, this could be a bet for me on the over 47. Oh, so we had a little hiccup there. Hopefully we're still good. And then the Giants, the woeful Giants, who, yes, Danny, I did pick to win or go to playoffs, sorry, will get beat by Pittsburgh. It's him and Danny host talking about Joe Willie. Lower level math is something I do in my mind. The rest I don't understand so much. Trig and others. You missed this. You missed the mark on this one too, Kenny. And believe me, I don't math very well. Could Belichick win with the Yankees? There's a great question, Kenny. This is, and by the way, I know you're kidding. I think you're kidding, but there's been debates over the years about great coaches and how they would do in other sports. Again, a football coach coaching a baseball team, probably not going to happen. Never going to happen, I shouldn't say. But it'd be very interesting to see, because again, you see a totally different approach to managing people because you're going to hold guys accountable, and you're not going to um, just continue to enable them to make mistake after mistake after mistake without calling them out a little bit. Out of Orlando would be a trick. It would be a trick. My wife always says out of Orlando, but I think it's because we fly into Orlando and then we have to drive an hour to Canaveral. Because I say the same thing. How the heck are we going out of Orlando? Because then I forget. Oh, I just froze up a little bit there. That was the yeah. See, it's taking me out of my thing. I got to hit the comments just right. If I miss the box, then it takes me out. Belichick won't be coaching again unless he breaks up with his cheerleader. The studio is comfy and scheduled. On the contrary, Drew, every single article I've read, and wedding bells are in the offing, it appears, for his 24-year-old, and she wants him to do what makes him happy, which is coaching. I don't think she'll have anything to do with the decision. I think it will be whether he likes the studio. The second part of this is accurate. He likes being in the studio. He likes showing that other side of him. And it's fun to watch him on the Manning Cast because people don't understand that Bill Belichick has a great sense of humor. But I'm not sure he's done. I still think it's 80-20. It's going down, though. It was 100% before the season started that I would say he would have been back this year. Now, 80-20. Maybe since we're talking, it's gone to 75-25. But it's certainly not, well, you didn't say 100%. But you did say won't be. You can give me a percentage. Thinking about how several baseball players who also wrestled professionally, Randy Poffo, Randy Savage, Macho Man Savage was a catcher in the Cardinals organization. You probably didn't know that. Riku Singh, no idea. Ken Kaiser, the umpire, definitely I remember being a wrestler before his umpiring days. But I don't remember Rinku Singh, sorry. Anthony's with us. Good morning. He chimes in on the Ducks. Ducks win big yesterday. Will stay number one. Probably not a lot of changes. I don't have the rankings in front of me. The only change would be LSU falling out of the top 10. Notre Dame will jump back into the top 10 most likely. A&M should take a pretty good jump, I think, this week as well. Could pass a couple teams and get close to that top 10. So we'll see. If they come out before we leave, somebody can share it. But I don't see a lot of movement in the top 10. I think you'll see some movement, beyond that. I mean, Navy's going to fall out of the top 25. It's going to be interesting to see if Vanderbilt can hang on to a top 25 spot after a really good performance, but a loss nonetheless to Texas. But the Ducks are playing well, Anthony. I don't like your Redskins today, though. I keep forgetting. I do this every time, Anthony. Maybe you're a Ravens fan. I do this every time. Just been on game day morning. NFL is looking at penalties to be included in replay assistance process. I think it should only be certain penalties, right? Pass interference, whatever. But they can't slow these games down anymore. I mean, Jesus. I like that because obviously penalties at big moments cause a lot of problems. But are you gonna review? Again, it's got to be on a challenge basis, I'm sure. So maybe it isn't. Maybe you still. I wouldn't give teams any more challenges than they have now. You decide whether you want to challenge a penalty or an inbounds, out of bounds call or whatever. I mean, touchdowns are already reviewed, so that turnovers. So you get a big holding penalty, you get a big pass interference penalty. You want to review it? Maybe that's fine. As long as we don't slow the game down, there are certainly times where I've thought we should be able to review that. Did you think? What time is it? Okay, we're good. Do you think realization has hit Alan that his Okies suck? No, probably not. Alan, if you're not here, I said before the year, 8-4 was a high watermark for the Sooners, and I think that's probably might have been. They got to win their last four, I think. Aren't they 4-4 now? They lost four in a row. At least three in a row. They're not a good football team. They're not a good offensive football team, and I'm also thinking that Venable is likely to be in trouble if this continues in Oklahoma. Best only go 6, 7, 8, regardless. Well, regardless of the outcome, LA will riot more. Best only go 6, a 7 game, regardless of what is that? The best only go 6. Are we talking about pitchers? And it's ridiculous. I'm sorry. Again, I've talked about this in general about baseball, and the way we approach the games is ridiculous. These guys don't want to face players the third time around in the order, and it's just stupid and it's ridiculous, and it's not the way to approach the game when your best pitcher is on a mound throwing as well as he can. Cole pitched tremendous in that game. Should not have been coming out during after the 8 pitches for sure. And there's no way Yamamoto should have been coming on that game yesterday. Roberts gets away with it. But there's zero reason to take Yamamoto out of that game. He's not going to pitch any sooner. You're not gaining a day off or lessening a time between starts. Just ridiculous. To a back for more brain rattling fun. This poor guy. Somebody needs to save him from himself, right? They asked me if he was going to wear the I forget what they call it now, the crown, the topper on the helmet is a name for it. I am still live, Danny Fuller. If you're still live, I am. Whenever you see live up here, I'm live, I think. Maybe it shows it on the replay. I don't know. But anyway, look at this is just a recipe for disaster. Anyway, hopefully he stays healthy. It's his decision. It's his life. Danny, good morning. Good to have you with us. You ought to take the Niners. Listen, I'm on a roll here. I've made money the last, and again, that's not a bet. That's just a pick. I got to pick all the games. My bets, Danny, today are likely going to be Packers -4, Texans -5, and then I'm up in the air. I think I may take the 49ers in Dallas over 47, I think. Or I can't read what I wrote down there. That's a shame. Anyway, the bets. I got 3 bets, $3 $50 bets left today. After going 2-1 yesterday, all I care about. Hang on. Probably won't be able to hear me.
This is Georgia, your director. We're excited for an absolutely amazing day here on our project. Just to give you a rundown of the fun coming up and everyone to join. Now,
I always set up near a speaker.
In the Seattle Russell Theater on deck for West, we have our military gathering.
Bear with me, guys.
A big celebration as we honor the emerging commitment of all of our service members, and of course, recognize their talents and loved ones. We'd love to see you there, and like I said, it's for them to say thank you and to show so much love. That's coming up at 10 o'clock, once again on deck for in the Seattle Theater. We've also got some briefings going on this morning, such as our
no reason in front of a speaker every time.
At 11:30 a.m. And then you can join your auntie in the Limelight Lounge this morning at 11:30 with the champagne auction. You can register with our auntie at 11 a.m. as well on deck 4. Our pie shops are open this morning on deck 4 and 5 morning, and they've got their everything $10 events.
I don't know if you can hear me, but I can hear you.
That's right, 11 o'clock. You can stay on deck 4 forward. We hope you have an absolutely incredible morning here on our ship, and we'll see you at our military gathering.
Oh, she stopped. There we go. Sorry about that, guys. That's the and again, Danny, I'm not betting the 49ers. I'm just taking I'll run at Dallas in the pick 'em. That's all. My NFL picks I'm going to bet today, Chris. I'm going to bet Houston. I'm going to bet Packers, and I'm either betting the over 47 in the Dallas 49er game, or um, I like the Bears too, but so I'm in between. I think it's going to be the over. Is going to be the three bets I make today. Initial checks on Otani showed good strength and motion. Apparently, it was a partial dislocation. That won't affect him at all. Medical test will determine whether he needs to miss time. I'd be shocked to see Otani in the lineup tomorrow night. Shocked. Partial dislocation is still a dislocation of the shoulder. I think last I knew, the shoulders were an important part of the swing in Major League Baseball. By the way, it's also a further injury to his pitching shoulder, which he just had um, a surgery on. For him to be stealing that base in that situation and diving headfirst besides is stupid, whether it was Robert's decision or his. And listen, I hope he plays. I do. I want them to get full strength. I'd be shocked if he plays. I mean, you saw him go off the field. He didn't look like a guy who was going to be swinging a bat in 2 days. I understand he's a finely toned athlete, unlike myself. Cook is done, unfortunately. Great with blocking, but awful at creating yards. Led league in runs for a loss. Horrible loss of, what is that? If I can't, I don't know what that is. The New England offense is not the best tackles in the league. Should have taken a knee. Who are we talking about? Minnesota game? I'm not sure who we're talking. I'm missing that one. Rick talking up quitters coming out of the game. Completely different situations, apples and oranges. Again, I'm not saying Rick was agreeing with that. I think if you heard my comments, Dave, because I know you brought it up in the chat the other day, and I think there's a fine line, right, between playing hard, continuing to try to win the game, and quitting, obviously. I think every coach has his own philosophy. Again, I mentioned that Tom Brady played virtually every single down of every single game, regardless of the score. For the most part, 98% of the time. Doesn't mean he never came out. But he was saying blowout wins, and blowout losses might be different than blowout wins. But often he came out just to kneel down. To somebody come in just to kneel. But you're right. Situations are different, and it's an awful loss for Goodwin. So again, I don't know. I'm not saying Rick called that out. Because I don't think that's what he was talking about there. I don't know. I don't think that's what Rick was talking about. He's talking about one of the best tackles. So I think he's talking about something different. I did ask Rick to comment because he is very vocal about guys who quit. And I wonder if that, again, if you stay out, if you're mathematically, you're in a game. You are in the game. I mean, at that point, I think they were down 2 scores. I'm not positive, Danny. You can correct me if I'm wrong. Again, it's a horrible loss for the team, a team that was playing pretty good football. And he was having, I think, probably the best season of his career, Goodwin. So I'm curious. But again, I don't think there's a right. I don't know that there's a right or wrong answer here. I certainly don't disagree, Danny, that opinion is warranted. I think different coaches have different philosophies, and this one cost the head coach big time, and who knows, could cost him his job at some point. Cast off Central, both Trevor Siemian and Joshua Kelly elevated from practice squad for the Titans. Nowhere to go but up. Maybe. Maybe. You can be down with us with the Patriots and Panthers, Drew. Desert Island Wi-Fi. That's got to be a winner. Oh, excellent business plan. How do we get into this? Where's Billy Pulver? I need some I need you to get me in touch with some venture capitalists. I think Desert Island Wi-Fi is something we should look into, invest in, and I'll run it from whatever desert island I can find with a hut. There's Flo's information. Every Sunday, the Sunday Surge, we recap NFL action. Let's Talk Sports Network at 6:30 Central, 7:30 Eastern. Excuse me. Coffee's giving me a hiccup. Our weekly show on all platforms at the Bottom Line Sports, Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern. A lot of good stuff. And Flo, I got to if you share your show to TGI Sports Talk or even my personal page, I'll be happy to share it. I think I have to see it though. I'm not sure. So just if you can, and like Ralph, and Ralph, you're around. Ralph puts it in my messenger, and there's really no way for me to share it other than like copy a link, and it doesn't come out quite as well. So I'd like to do the direct share, and I'm happy to share your show, Flo, and who else did I say? Sonia. All right, meat and potatoes, drinks ahoy. Good Sunday, everyone. See you later, buddy. Skylar Thompson back to backing up Tua. Poor as poor Tim Boylan was used, abused, and not cut, and now cut. Well, that's not a new experience for him, I think. I'll throw this out there. The Cowboys have a game like LSU last night, win or highly doubt they're making the playoffs. Flexing Colts and Titans to Sunday Night Football adds spice to the end of our day. That's an interesting matchup. I'll have to watch that on my phone later because they're not showing it on the big screen tonight. They've got a movie doubleheader tonight, no football outside. I guess I could go to the Heroes Lounge and watch it there. Or I'll watch it on my phone and go to bed. Bill should just go back and prove he can coach without Brady. I vote he goes to the Browns. Why? Well, again, remember something though. Yes, it was the Browns. He got fired by the Cleveland Browns, not this Cleveland Browns. That team is in Baltimore. So I don't see him going there. Got no quarterback. I mean, that team is not going to win for a while, I don't think, Danny. I do 100% think he should come back. I do think he wants to come back. I do think he wants the record. I think it's important to him. Say hi. Say hi.
Hey,
What's your name?
Bahudin.
Oh, I can't say that. Say it into the camera. I can't say Bob and John. I can't say. Thanks, buddy. We try to get some of the help on the live podcast when we can on the ship. So there you saw one of the important crew members here on the Valencia. Anyway, little irreverence there. So anyway, I think Bill does want that winning record. And yeah, I think he does want to shut up some of these idiots. I'm sorry. If you're one of them, that's fine. I'm sorry. The idiot is too strong. Would not call any of my friends or my followers idiots. I apologize. That's probably the wrong term. Any of these guys who are short-sighted and don't understand that without Bill Belichick, there is no Tom Brady. So if you want to even say anything, I give Belichick the first 3 Super Bowls and Brady the second 3. How about that? But in any event, one of the 6 rings. Guarantee you that. Again, just like Billy's comment about Namath, I can't prove that. But again, it's just my opinion, having watched this team, unlike many of you, day in, day out, game, every single play of every single game since 1970.
Good morning, my Philadelphia family. This announcement is for Kyle T. Kyle T. to kindly contact your services located on
That wasn't for me.
Urban Extension 7777. Thank you.
Looks like somebody lost their room key. So anyway, I do think he comes back. I think he wants the record, and I think he's got some things to prove. The play or safety in the Vikings game should have been reviewed simply because it was a scoring play. Wasn't it reviewed? I don't know for a fact. Should it have been? Absolutely. any turnover or scoring play needs to be reviewed. It's official by the officials. So yes, but you can't. But I don't believe it opens up for everything else. It's not going to give you like if that's the same play that face mask happened on. That's not going to give you that call. They flex then in and out Texas and both Cowboys. Okay. Either way, have a wavy day. Sorry, I missed. Have a wavy day. Well, not so much. Yesterday was pretty wavy actually. A little bit of wind, much warmer. As I said, it was 65 yesterday, so I still had a top on. Today's t-shirt. Well, I'm a little chilly right now, but it's warming up. It's funny. The ship temperature said 32 when I got up. Something was wrong there. It is going to 86 with a chance of a thunderstorm later. 60s at night. It's going to be a beautiful week. I mean, chance of some rain. You get that. But we'll have a great day, Teddy. Thank you. Love the Texans. I do. I think they're really good. No, she's not calling me. She knows that I said I was going to do the show to between 10 and 10:30. I'll meet her back on the roof or in the lead out, and then we're going to go to her lunch. Her diamond lunch is at 11:30. So we skipped breakfast this morning because if I just kept eating, I'd be 300 pounds when I got home for crying out loud. CA scrambling now, changing duties so I can watch all of the Texans hosting the Colts, like the Texans today, because it's back to the early side of games. Yeah, I get you. Patriots used to, I used to not get a lot of 1 o'clock games. I seem to have a lot of 4:25s, and I'd be driving home. My wife would tape the game, and we'd start watching when I got home. Because I'd be out with my buddies for the 1 o'clock games. It's been our tradition for decades now. Or at night, which again I don't miss all the night games, so we're on 1 o'clock all the time because that's where you play when you stink. Everyone in Pick'em took the Vikings over the Rams. It could be an omen of upsets to come. I thought about the Rams in that game. I just couldn't pull the trigger. Need to put this cruise director on your payroll and tell her when not to announce things. Drew, wherever I go, I seem to find a speaker like right over me, and there's one literally 5 feet from me. Story of my life. And it's his left shoulder. Danny, again, you're a Dodger fan, and we got to get close to wrapping it up here soon, guys. So we'll start winding down the comments because I don't want to leave anybody out. We'll go another 10 minutes or so. So kind of look ahead. But Danny, I want your opinion. That he can't be stealing there, can he? And you certainly can't be sliding head first. You pitch. Nobody should be sliding head first of all, unless you know how to do it. And that was not good. That looked really bad, and I don't think he's playing. There's no way he's playing Monday night. I don't think you're going to see him again in this series, and certainly maybe till they get back to LA, if that even happens. Oh, I see, Darcy. I got you. I wasn't sure where we're going there, Rick, so I appreciate that. Nowhere's Rick. Vikings ahead of schedule. There'll be at least 85 million under the cap at the end of the season. And you've suddenly got a guy who seems like he can play some competent quarterback. Plus, your future doesn't have to be rushed. The Vikings are in a good spot. Plus, I will tell you, and they may not make the playoffs this year. They might fold. Darnold might find out who he is. But they're going to be in contention for a playoff spot all year. O'Connell's a really good football coach. He knows a lot of football. He's a good quarterback coach, a good offensive coach. And they lead the defense to one of the best in the business in Brian Flores. So this is a very well put together coaching staff. If their future's not now, their future isn't too far in the future. A little redundant. 10:05. Was it 10:05 when you put that only 7 minutes behind? Yeah, she's all right. She's good. She knows I'm doing this. And she's got me all day. So she's happy to get the respite for a couple hours, right? How many people fall overboard after a day of drinking? pretty much zero, less than a percentage of missed pitches you posted before. I mean, look at. I've never been on a cruise ship where anybody fell overboard. I've seen people drink too much off on shore and not make it back for departure. Uh, but people don't tend to fall overboard unless they're trying to fall overboard. So that's not really a concern. It's a um, very small percentage. And actually, if it does happen, it's usually going to be a Dateline story because somebody pushed them. Let's just say it. Now, there have been times I thought I might be a Dateline story, but that hasn't happened yet. Tommy, I figured you meant that. I do want to get to your comments. I hope they're there. If you don't get moving, your wife just might be basement Bob the Zoodle. Kenny, you are on top of it today. Well done. Colts need to bench Richardson, put Flacco back in. Until then, they don't have a playoff chance. I thought Richardson played decently. See, he gives you a different look because he can run the football, but Richardson's always been a project. He was overdrafted. I said it at the time. This isn't something new. He didn't play a lot in college, and he wasn't terribly effective when he was in college. They drafted him based on his athleticism only. You're right. I'm sorry. He didn't go head first. That's my bad. Thank you for Danny for pointing that out. He popped his shoulder when he went down. It was a bad slide. But again, overall, good call, bad call. I'm not having my best player stealing bases and getting hurt with a 3-run lead. Especially when I need him to pitch next year. Right? Is he right-handed? So here's his left shoulder. Yeah, maybe I'm wrong because it's been so long I don't remember what hand he pitched with. I still think it's a bad play. The best college expert on the net, the Reverend, preaching the gospel of college football. We didn't talk as much college football today as we normally would, and we're getting to the end of the show. We're getting to the end of the comments. I really appreciate you guys popping in with me today. We'll be on. I'll do a little bit of announcements as we get ready to wrap it up as far as what we're going to do the rest of the week. But Drew says, go enjoy eating diamonds for brunch. No, we're having some Italian for lunch. I don't know what exactly we're getting. I appreciate the comments. Anybody who thanking me for my commitment. It's more, listen, I love doing this too. I don't want to let you guys down. And, I know there's other options to do on Sunday morning, and I appreciate your time, and I don't want to take that for granted. And I have fun doing this. It's really fun doing it remotely like this as well, because it's a little change for me. And people walk by and they look at me like, what's that guy doing? Talking to himself. But it's still fun. So, best of 7 is never lopsided series. Again, I was just going to. Oops, sorry, Danny. I actually didn't get a chance to say that, but that is exactly true. It's always said until the home team loses a game, we don't have a series. So Yankees win Game 3. We're looking at this entirely differently. Clark Schmidt against Walker Buehler tomorrow night. Rick brought up this yesterday. Lee Corso Day was priceless. I did not, unfortunately, get to see any of it. I hope to catch some of it in a replay on ESPN.com at some point. Big fan of Lee Corso and what he's meant to college football, not just his coaching career, but obviously the last 36 or 38 years on ESPN. He's been tremendous. And I know the end is coming as far as that run goes soon. And I kind of hope this yesterday was not like a prelude to that. But Lee Corso, really happy for Indiana's success. That's one of his places he's coached. Enjoy the rest of y'all's trip. I will do that. And everybody enjoy the football action. One more picture of the ocean, please. Absolutely, Rick. Whoa. There you go. Look at the color of that. You guys can't tell. When you get from the Atlantic to the Caribbean, the water changes, and I know Drew can speak to this. The water will change from kind of a dark gray, if you will, to just a bluish green, which is so cool. And I know Drew can appreciate that as well. Billy, thank you. Thanks for popping in, and thanks for pushing my buttons like you always do. You're the best, buddy. miss you. We got to get together at some point for some cocktails. I promise you, we need to do it. I know you said it, and I have followed up. That's all on me. So we'll make a time to do it. Have a great sailing, football, or whatever floats your boat today. It'll be a little of everything for me. I'll be probably watching the Patriots on Dofu on my phone. Quarterfinal on the deck of the ship somewhere. The Dark Championships are on FanDuel. You can check that out. I know we all appreciate you and thank you for taking some time for us. And or Kenny. His wife probably gets mad I call him Kenny, but I just call people what I called them when we were kids. So anyway, I had a great time today. A couple of quick notes before I wrap it up. We will do the college football huddle Sunday, but I'll probably do it during the afternoon at some point. We may have an excursion. So, my wife just popped in. You want to say hi? She just want to say hi. I'm sorry, guys. Oh, she wanted to interrupt me. So anyway, we'll do the football huddle sometime Wednesday. I don't know. Do we have an excursion on Wednesday?
Yes.
What time? She doesn't know. But I'll do it at some point. It will not be at 7 o'clock at night, I can tell you that. But we will replay it on Roku at 7 o'clock, so we will fill our time slot there. And Friday, we're going to get on with Mac and Jack at 8 o'clock, and we'll try to do the MLB update at some point as well. And then Sunday, we're doing this again.
Wait, which day did you say?
Wednesday. So again, you're welcome, and I thank you guys for joining me on this trip. And Rick wanted to see it's hard to dethrone the champ. Billy is the itch. Probably we're retiring the itch award in his name, and you guys will be winning the Bill Culver. I don't want to say memorial award because I might be putting some bad juju on him, so I don't want to do that. But that's probably what it'll be. So that's what we're going to do going forward. I'm going to wrap it up here. That's okay. Don't worry about it. We're all good. So we're going to play some music on the way out. We don't know what's going on. You guys have a great day. Let me give you a little. Remember, check out
Football
SeatGeek.
season is here, and SeatGeek is my go-to for buying tickets. Now, with SeatGeek, every single ticket is backed with their buyer guarantee. We've all had plans change, and when you can't make it to the big game, SeatGeek has you covered. They're the only ticketer that allows you to return your tickets ahead of the event for credit with SeatGeek swaps. So when things come up, I know that my tickets won't go to waste. So what are you waiting for? Download the SeatGeek app to maximize your possibilities and shop live events with confidence.
You're listening to Keith Engle, the host of TGI Sports Talk on the National Streaming Sports Roku channel.